So the big shield nerf just went live, and I want to make a quick follow-up video about the bap+zen default because it seems, in organized games at least, like orisa Sigma isn't quite dead. So in your sort of deathball/poke comp, you had the rein mostly as a response to comps like rein Zarya that people were testing. They push you, and once they're past your static orisa shield, you then have the mobile rein shield to kite back with. And this is really important if you didn't want to immediately die to Zarya or Mei once they're past that first shield. But as the poke comp became more popular, we saw more and more mirror matchups which really reduced the need for rein, and it's important to understand why, because it really helps understand this comp's default rotation. So imagine both teams roll out in this comp, but one with rein and one with Sigma, and the goal of them is the same. They want to play distance and use their range damage, first breaking shields, and then burning down anyone stuck in their line of sight with no shield. And this comp has so much damage that this is pretty easy. To avoid this damage, teams play in cover, peek out with orisa shield, then once it's broken they kite back into cover using rein shield. And he was okay at this, but remember you're trying to keep the enemy in your LOS for as long as possible, so what you do is you land your orisa halt just as their first orisa shield breaks. It pulls them up and further away from cover, and maximizes the time needed to get back into that cover, and so maximizes the time rein has to shield his team. And in practice, with the new 1600 shield health, there's so much damage that it usually only takes one of these halt rotations to fully break his shield, and at that point he's sorta just a dead pick. He can't shield his team, he can't close distance. Turns out that finite shield health just isn't enough for this comp to get back into cover. But if we look at that same default from the other perspective, they peek, orisa shield gets broken, enemy halt comes in, but luckily they have something that can block infinite damage instead, Sigma's grasp, which they can use to much more easily get back into cover. Not to forget they still have Sigma's actual shield in case they need that too. I've seen a lot of people saying Sigma is good because he can put out his own poke, but you know, a lot of the time he's not even in range to do damage in most of these neutral fights. It's more that he just slots into this default so much nicer than rein does. Obviously the rest of his kit is better than rein's for this comp anyway. The burst damage and the rock give him actual mid-fight potential, and his ult gives this comp a great engage option that Shadow never really could. To really figure out this comp, understand that its damage potential is so insane that if you're out of cover, you will die. Shields can't block enough, health balls can't absorb enough, and heals can't heal enough. The only way to stay alive is with something that can absorb infinite damage. Luckily for this comp, it has two of those things, and those cooldowns are really what it's playing around. First you have Sigma Grasp, which we've talked about, and then you have Batiste Immortality Field. In neutrals, you use them in more or less the same way, just to kite back into cover without instantly dying, and if you're in enemy LOS with no shield, these two really are your only hope. The mirror matchup then ends up being around who can force those options first. In neutrals, you're mostly after a clean default by hard focusing shields and landing halt at the right time, as well as not overlapping your own grasp and lamp. Can pull some funky stuff like rocking the enemy Sigma out of grasp too. And thinking about ultimates, you're pretty much looking for opening engage options that can force their grasp or lamp super early. Starting fights with a halt plus a dragon, flux or bap window probably won't get you opening picks, but it will force those cooldowns and make cleaning up the fight after so easy. So in the mirror, Sigma fits nicer than rein for a few reasons, but especially the infinite blocking potential of the grasp and how you can rotate it with lamp. And also, as cool as the fire strike combos were, Sigma just eats those too. As a final note about this comp, it does seem to be super strong on most maps. The Zen can flex to Lucio if needed, you can also adjust it to Mei Reaper on the tighter maps, and Double Sniper or Ashe can be good too. But I'm not convinced it's the sort of meta comp that people always look for. For the past several months, teams have been playing old school Goats, then Mei Reaper, then Double Shield, and because of that, this comp has been very comfortable for teams to adjust to, which is one of the reasons we see it so much. That said, I have seen this comp eat rein Zarya alive, and you can't really outpoke it either. To me, all that's left to be seen is how it fares versus a comp that doesn't play around brawl, doesn't play around poke, but plays around map control instead. I know he is a hamster, but soon it is going to be Year of the Rat.